Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
All this is happening.
The following production is part of the
Townsend Coleman here, the voice of
podcast.
Michelangelo from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Tom Kane, this is the voice of Yoda on Star Wars.
Hey yo, it's Wopat, and a big yeehaw to you all. I used to be Luke too.
Hi, my name is Oli Shoshan. I play Jedi Master Shakti.
Hi, Butch Patrick here, Eddie Munster.
Hi, this is Jim.
Hi, this is Bill Farmer. You're listening to the Neverland podcast.
Welcome to Neverland, to Disney and beyond.
And it will all happen again.
And now your head lost boy, the Spider-Pan,
Walk on the eyes in each pan.
Jeremy.
Hooray for
It's us! Let me get back to where you can see us again. I gotta stop sharing the screen. There! Now you should be able to see us again. Here we are. We are back. We're doing a video. Okay, so this is going to seem live because this will go up live and it'll be premiering on YouTube. And if you're just hearing the audio version of the show, then you can just get the audio and then enjoy it. But we're going to do our year in review.
Wait. Aren't we live right now?
Not quite. Well, you and I are alive, but I'm recording this and I'll put it up on YouTube and have it do an instant premiere. And so however long we go, I'll just make it to where it's going to run up until midnight my time. I figured it's easier. That way I can make sure I get the audio off of this so we can share it for all our audio people as well. I'm just saving time. I figured, I was thinking about just going completely live, but it's like, well, I haven't had time to really promote anything, and if I put it on early. But anyways.
I'm alive.
We're alive. Yes, we got through the year. We have survived 2020, which my point is not the worst year in human history. And there's been some problems with this year, truly. We'll say that, but we got through it, and I want to be able to focus on everything that went right with the year, because a lot went right compared to what went wrong.
Well, I do have to say, I did have a bit of a struggle this year, though.
So did I.
I watched Xanadu.
Hey, yeah, I know it's not a great movie, but the music is fantastic.
I'm alive.
Yeah, I'm alive. ELO, baby. Yes. One of my favorites from classic rock. I love playing their music because I'm back on the job. That's been my fun year I was full-time at the radio station. And then in March, I was sent to work from home and then furloughed. But I can even find a benefit to being furloughed, which I'll get into later. I mean, granted, it really stunk. But see, it has come back around. I'm only part-time, but I am back at the radio station again. So I've come full circle, mostly. I'm still having to fill in the rest of my hours of the day to make sure I'm making money. So, but at least I feel like I've made progress. I'm
Good.
working it back around because this year's been rough on everybody. A lot of us lost our jobs, including me. So, but there's a lot of things, if we really think about it, we can't really expect 2021 to start out that much better because we still have this pandemic thing going on, and there's stuff is still happening. It didn't stop just because the year changes over. So as much as everybody's like, kick this year out the door right in the pants, doesn't mean it's going to be better unless you have the right mindset.
True. Now, I am trying to get my year started off on a great right foot.
There you
go. I guess we can talk about that later.
Okay, we'll do that later because we got some things to anticipate for the next year.
Exactly.
I kept saying, I've said in previous videos and the stuff that I'm going to get to on the podcast, we have to talk about the Disney Investors Day and all the fun stuff, but we're going to save that for all the things to talk about that's coming up in this coming year. That like, woohoo! A lot of cool stuff is happening.
There's also one other good thing that came out of 2020. Both of us have a nice beard.
Yes, my winter beard is in. I will keep it until it gets hot again. And I've got it nice and furry just right in time for, we had an ice storm that hit.
Ooh.
Well, the fun thing is, all right, so here in Gladstone where I live, it was pretty bad. But as I drive up north, I work 45 minutes north, and there it is a winter wonderland of ice. I mean, it was just a freezing rain after the sleet, and so all the trees have that nice ice covering, and the grass is all covered in ice. So it's really kind of beautiful to look at. It's just not fun to drive on. But
I remember those days.
Yeah, you grew up in Utah, right?
Idaho.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Well, sometimes spent in Utah too, but yeah.
Sometimes in Utah.
And here in Arizona, I love the winters. No ice, no snow. I can walk around in shorts.
Is this when you're going to have your sandstorms, though?
That happens in the middle of summer.
Okay.
Yep.
So, do you have anything to look forward to in winter other than being able to say, we're not cold at all?
That's the whole reason to look forward to winter.
I'm wearing shorts. Neener.
Time to put those Facebook memes up about, watching all the snow from Arizona.
Yeah. Well, at least it's, not dry here, I guess.
There you go.
See, so,
and you've got this color called green out there.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. I remember when you came in for the convention, you were like, I love how green everything is, all these trees and everything. It's like, yeah, see? Although it's pretty neat. I've been to the other side of the Rocky Mountains, and it's pretty cool when you get over to that side, and everything's kind of, it's just different. Because everybody's lawn is rocks.
Well, down here, definitely.
So it is pretty cool. It's a whole different thing, and you can make it beautiful.
Yep.
You make it work. But this, before we get into everything positive, we do want to get into, not everything was perfect this year. We, of course, did lose a lot of our celebrity friends. Well, we call them friends. We felt like we knew them. But one, though, that has not passed away, Tom Kane. Yeah, thank goodness. We just heard this week, and I noticed because I follow him on social media because he's local to me, and I've gotten to meet him at conventions here locally and talk to him a few times. In fact, let me switch over. I should have dug this up. But you've heard it on the show before, but we have a sounder, where Tom Kane, this is the voice of Yoda on Star Wars. I do a terrible job at it. But we do have, some audio from him that I've recorded with him. But he apparently, the reason why he hasn't been on social media in a very long time, and I was starting to wonder, it's like, how come I never see him anymore? He had a stroke. I believe they said it was the right side of his face. Mainly, I'd have to look it up, but he had a stroke, and I guess he's doing better than he was, but there's a chance that he might not be able to do voice work anymore. It's a possibility, but you know what? He can heal up from this. He can come back from it. People come back from strokes. I figure, if Jim Ross can come back from his stroke and he's still announcing for wrestling events, even though he can't move half of his face, he can speak clearly. So, Tom Kane, we got the best wishes and prayers coming for you, that you're going to be able to be speaking, you're going to be back, because, that's almost like losing our modern-day Ted Knight.
Right.
And for anyone who doesn't think of Ted Knight, let's give him the sample would be, Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice. Yeah. Ted Knight was just this great voice, and really Tom Kane, he's just that level. He's done the Academy Awards, many tiers. I even hear him doing stuff on, if anyone listens to the soundtrack show with David Collins, he does some of the announcing on that as well. I mean, Tom Kane's been everywhere. So I hope he's going to come back. Yes. Or, of course, yes, everybody at least is going to be able to see it on the video because they're seeing your screen, not me. There we go. There we go. But we do have a long list, and I hadn't realized how long of a list this was until I started compiling it of all the people that passed away. This is not every single celebrity. There was a lot more on the list, but I went with the ones that I knew who they were. I knew something about. So let's just go get through this, because the most recent one was Dawn Wells, yes. Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island, which I know that was Philip's favorite. Now, I had a hard time picking a favorite because Mary Ann was the one you would want to take home because she was the nice, good girl. But I've always got a thing for redheads. So I do like the ginger as well. So I was stuck in the middle. I couldn't pick. How about you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely Dawn Wells. Mary Ann, yeah.
Yeah. I married a brunette, so, I mean, I do love your redheads, but I do like the brunettes, too. Plus, I think, Dawn Wells, didn't she have blue eyes? And blue eyes with dark hair is just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, yeah.
And, she can make a coconut 3,000 different ways.
There you go. And, of course, if Casey Jones always said Professor and Mary Ann all the way. Although Donatello says Gilligan was her main man. And I can't remember which insult came with each quote, but, yeah. Something like elf lips or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dome head. Anyways, some of you got that. I hope you did. Anyway, so the next on the list is Jeremy Bullock. The original Boba Fett.
Yes.
Although you didn't actually hear his voice in there, but...
Well, but you do get to see him.
You get to see him.
As one of the Imperial officers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know if I've ever spotted him. I need to look for him.
Yeah. He's there.
One of those other guys that are always masked that you finally like, hey, look, we can pop you up somewhere else and no one will ever know.
Oh, yeah.
So like getting to see Warwick Davis in episode 1 where he got to be there and have his face showing.
Yeah. As Weasel, yeah.
We're like, yay, it's you. So after that, I have to mention this up because Philip and I found out about his death while we were actually recording, but Kobe Bryant. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I mean, you knew his name. That's like knowing who LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Larry Bird is, really. So we knew who he was. Chadwick Boseman. Now this was a big one.
Oh yeah,
because he was a fantastic Black Panther, and as much as I like the fact that they're going to try to keep going with Black Panther series, and I'm excited to see what they do, it's just not going to be the same. He was so great, and I didn't realize I'd seen some other stuff like 42. I remember watching that one. I didn't realize that was him, and that's a good story with the 42 because that's one of our hometown heroes.
Right.
Robinson. So makes me proud to be a Kansas City with the Kansas City Monarchs. So yeah, I'd forgotten that's I think the only things I saw him in was 42 and of course as the Black Panther in at least 4. How many movies did he get to play the Black Panther in?
Oh, let's see. Civil War,
mm-hmm.
Black Panther,
mm-hmm. And 2 Avengers movies at least. War. So yeah. So just as I think I heard something that he has filmed some other stuff for an upcoming movie already.
Interesting.
I thought I heard something about that. So they still have some footage of him they can use. So I hope that's true. But I do recall hearing something about that. Like he's supposed to be, I want to say the next Thor movie he's supposed to pop up. But don't quote me on that. But I thought I heard something about that.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that they're ready to even film on that. So
I thought they had already had it filmed and were ready to go. Maybe it's one of the Disney Plus series or something.
Well, there's Black Widow. There's Eternals coming up.
There's a lot coming. We'll get into that later. But moving along, Alex Trebek, another recent one. I didn't watch a whole lot of Jeopardy, but I did find it odd, and I'll jump down to him and Sean Connery passing away that close to each other.
Yeah, within a week.
With having seen the Celebrity Jeopardy parodies on Saturday Night Live, where they had this grudge thing where Sean Connery was always insulting Alex Trebek. So it was funny that they kind of went together because I wonder if they had ever met at any point in real life and could laugh about what Saturday Night Live was doing to them. Yeah.
Well, they've got that opportunity now.
Yeah. So then Charlie Pride. I think you were more familiar with Charlie Pride than I am, because I think you posted something about it, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, my family my family growing up, all we listened to was country, and of course, Charlie Pride was on the radio station. So Kiss an Angel, Good Morning.
I think that's the song I can think of that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Pride was "Kiss an Angel, Good Morning," and
Elijah.
He did that originally.
Yeah. Well, I don't know originally, but he did do it.
Oh, because I've heard Ronnie Millsap do that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Elijah, the poor old wooden Indian guy, right? Yeah. Wow. I didn't know Charlie Pride had sung that. So now I got to look it up. Mm-hmm. Okay, because I love Ronnie Millsap. We used to have a bunch of Ronnie Millsap tapes, and we had a live Ronnie Millsap, but he sung that song. So, all right, but moving along, it's another Star Wars loss for the year, David Prowse.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago when he announced that he was no longer going to be able to attend conventions, and I figured, this is close. This is we're not going to have him for much longer. Yeah,
and not just for being Darth Vader, but he was well known for playing like the safety superhero on British television, teaching like crosswalk safety and stuff. So
right.
So he was larger than life, and I love that some photos that I've seen of him. You'd see him standing around with his hands kind of on his belt, just like you'd see Darth Vader standing around, and I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. So that's just as big as when we lost Peter Mayhew. I guess
a couple years ago,
yeah. Because Peter Mayhew, just the way he carried himself was so much Chewbacca. So we've already mentioned Sean Connery.
Yep.
Yeah. So next, Eddie Van Halen. This was big on all of us people that are around our age, because okay, I don't know who you would say is better between Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix, but come on.
Oh yeah.
I think Eddie Van Halen is the one who really taught us how to hammer down on those tiny strings.
Oh, come on, Van Halen is the soundtrack of the '80s.
Yes, it totally is. No matter who the singer is, because
exactly.
If when people try to say, oh, well, there's a difference between Van Halen and Van Hagar, I like both. I have enjoyed music from both of them. David Lee Roth was, of course, his own thing, and then Sammy Hagar was almost like an entirely different band, and I enjoyed both bands.
Right, yeah.
Probably because you had Eddie Van Halen. Even when they stuck him on a keyboard for Jump, he still rocked the keyboard,
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be missed. And then, speaking of keyboard, Little Richard, I'd forgotten he passed away this year.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
Good golly. Oh, my goodness. He had so many great hits back in the day, and he was just such a personality. And anytime you'd see him on TV and everything, he was always just an exciting person. And I don't think Chadwick Boseman popped up in this one, but there is an actor who did play. There's a Little Richard, I think it was made for TV movie I did see once. And that actor who played Little Richard went on and he did a lot of other stuff, and now I can't think of who he was. Almost makes me wonder if Chadwick Boseman didn't pop up somewhere in that movie. He popped up everywhere.
It's possible, I guess. Yeah.
Let's see. Then Regis Philbin. I'd forgot about him passing away this year. When I was young, I used to watch him and Kathy Lee before it became, now it's Kelly Ripa and the American Idol dude. Yep. Right out of my head.
The American Idol dude.
That's the guy. He's Kelly Ripa now.
But Regis was also a staple at all of the Walt Disney World parades that they would televise.
Yes. He was the epitome host. Is that the word I'm looking for? Consummate, I think, host.
There you go.
And now, like, kind of Tom Bergeron is now, he is like the ultimate host for doing anything for a Disney television show between Dancing with the Stars. Although he left AFV because he was getting too busy. And now I love we have Alfonso Ribeiro on AFV. I love him to death. It's just great. So, but Tom Bergeron is just like a perfect host for stuff. And he's like the new Regis Philbin.
Right.
The next on the list, Grant Imahara.
Yes, from Mythbusters.
Mythbusters.
And Lucasfilm.
Yes, he did a lot of work with Lucasfilm, but I also want to bring up, there's a fan-made series, Star Trek Continues, and he played Sulu.
Right. Yes.
Which I haven't watched all of those, but they're so good. They're like watching the old show brought back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to see Grant Imahara in there as Sulu. And then this, we'll take personally, Wilford Brimley.
Yes.
Because, I can relate being diabetic. Me and my diabetes. And I took what he said because he was always doing the Quaker Oats. I do eat oatmeal for breakfast because it is actually really good to keep my blood sugar under control. So
as long as you don't turn into a thing. Or Cocoon.
Okay. Sure. I didn't think I ever saw The Thing, but I did see Cocoon.
There you go. There you go. Well, the next person on our list here is Kelly Preston. Oh.
Definitely a Disney connection there. Sky High. Yeah. With Kurt Russell.
Yep.
I don't know if she did anything else with Disney that I can think of, though.
Nothing's coming to the top of my head, but she was married to John Travolta.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And he's certainly done a few things for Disney as well.
Yeah. Bolt.
Yep.
Yeah, Bolt. Yes. So, and that's what poor John Travolta just had a rough few years because he just lost his son a couple of years ago.
Right.
And then now his wife passed away. So it was nice seeing him this year in that Christmas commercial where he's playing Santa with Samuel L. Jackson. Have you seen that?
I missed that one.
Oh, it's so great.
To look for it.
It's almost like a Pulp Fiction reunion. And especially because Samuel L. Jackson's telling him about his, asking what's in his wallet, as usual. But when he tells Santa, John Travolta Santa, of this wonderful thing he can get on his credit card, he asks Santa if he can get off the naughty list. And John Travolta Santa says, "Have you gotten off the naughty words?" It was a great commercial. You might be able to find it on YouTube if you didn't get to see it. It was usually on during football games is when I'd see it. It was a fun commercial. But moving on, Jerry Stiller, father of Ben Stiller. I think most people are going to know him from Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing him in a lot of different movies. And
he did a lot of work with his son as well.
Yes, he did. He was a very funny guy. Even his wife was funny. I can't think of his wife's name. She was on a lot of television shows as well. Yeah. Which she's still living, I believe.
Yeah, I believe she is. Yeah.
She still lives. And she did a lot of, 80s television, 90s television. You'd see them pop up. Movies. They were just, funny old people,
Yeah.
And he really was. And then the next, Ian Holm.
Oh, yeah, Bilbo.
Bilbo Baggins himself. The original Bilbo before they passed it on to, I forgot the guy's name who did the Hobbit movies.
And now I blame Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
But the first time I actually remember seeing Ian Holm and knowing who he was in The Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was who he was in The Fifth Element, but I saw it first. And it wasn't until later I was like, oh, the guy in The Fifth Element. And then he also is in, I don't think it's Jesus of Nazareth, but he's in one of the old television biblical epics. I think it is Jesus of Nazareth.
Could be.
You can see him. I can't remember who he plays. He's somewhere in King Herod's court, I think. I can picture where I remember seeing him, but I can't think of who he was supposed to be. But yeah, Ian Holm actually did a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think he even did some voices somewhere, I think. He might have done some work for Disney. I should have looked that up before we started, huh? That's what I get for not paying attention.
Oh, another person who did an awful lot of work was Max von Sydow.
Yes. Is it Sydow or Sydow? I never know how to say that.
One or the other.
Either way, he was in a Star Wars movie. I mean, come on. What more do you need? Other than at least Ming the Merciless. Playing Jesus Christ himself, even.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to go from playing Jesus to then playing Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in everything, and I love that he got to do a Star Wars movie before he passed, even though it's a small part. But he was in there.
At this point, everyone's going to be in Star Wars.
Right. Even Daniel Craig has a small part in the Star Wars movie.
Too true.
Very true. So, but Fred Willard, that one hurts. Yes. Even in Pixar films, he's in
Wall-E.
I think he did it. Didn't he? Did he do 2 Pixars?
Nothing's coming to mind for another film.
Because I thought he voiced another character somewhere. I should have looked that up too. But Fred Willard, I mean, he was everywhere. Even in Chuck. He's in some episodes of Chuck. He was Captain Awesome's father, I believe. He was just so funny, and he just had this quality of friendliness and geniality. If he ever played a villain, I would never be able to watch it. It wouldn't make sense to me.
But one thing he liked, did he ever own a chicken restaurant?
I don't know.
Well, you know who did.
Who did?
Kenny Rogers. With Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, my goodness. But Kenny Rogers, we lost him this year, too.
We did.
And we had, when I was a kid, an 8-track tape of Kenny Rogers. Ask your parents, kids, what an 8-track is. Maybe even ask your grandparents.
I'll do you one better. We had a collection of LPs.
There you go. This lady, and I can't think any other words because I don't remember them. But then, of course, everybody knows The Gambler.
Oh, yes.
And Islands in the Stream with Dolly Parton. I mean, come on. Kenny Rogers.
Well, yeah. Well, and I always go back to Ruby. But, in fact, one of my favorite Kenny Rogers performances is him not performing Ruby. He's with Lionel Richie, who is the one performing Ruby.
Wow.
Which he has an interesting take on it.
I'll bet. I'll have to listen to that one. Something else to look up later. But before we skip too many people down here, is we had, and I guess it's Neil Peart. I've heard some people want to say Neil Peart, but I think it's Neil Peart, drummer for Rush. That was a big deal, boy. And he passed away. A lot of music fans just melted.
Oh yeah,
to have him, and maybe somewhere he and Eddie Van Halen are putting a band together.
There you go.
There you go. Because I didn't really think he was one of the greatest drummers of all time, but a lot of people say he was, so I believe him. Because Rush music, I was never really a big fan of Rush, but it is. You've heard the songs everywhere, especially.
Oh yeah.
I work in a classic rock station. Yeah. And I mean, it did have Rush had a definite style about them. So
they did.
Well, then moving from there, Rocky Johnson.
Yes.
Which most people probably know him as the father of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But he was a wrestler back in the 80s. He was there when Hulk Hogan first won the WWF championship, and he was there dumping champagne on his head. And if you think The Rock was in good shape, you should. His dad.
Oh yeah,
was buff like crazy, man. So I don't remember a lot of specific matches because I was really little at the time when Rocky Johnson was wrestling. But yeah, he was a good-looking dude. He was buff as heck, man. So you can see where Dwayne got his looks from, because Dwayne's a good-looking dude too.
Oh yeah,
he really took after his dad. But after that, this one hurts too. Kirk Douglas.
Yes. Well, and he lived a good, long, full life as well.
Yeah, he did. Wow. But I'm always going to love him, probably best. I mean, granted, he's been on so many Westerns, but I still, after you see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, he's so great in that one, getting to play his typical tough guy role, but has the only real song in the movie, and
True.
It's one of the best songs. It's a great one. There's Mermaid Tilly. I forgot all the lyrics, but yeah, the Whale of a Tale to tell you, lads, and a Whale of a Tale or two. It is such a great song, and it's so iconic to me, at least, and I think to a lot of other people. And who knew that Kirk Douglas could sing?
There you go. I'll bet he surprised even himself.
He might have, but he's just great. He's just great, and so he'll be missed. And this one kind of got to my childhood. Fred Curly Neal. One of I don't think he was one of the original Harlem Globetrotters, but to me, when I first heard of them, and they were on cartoons with Scooby-Doo,
yes.
Curly was there.
Yes.
So you hadn't heard from him in a long, long time. But when he passed away, I was like, right in the childhood.
It's still very iconic.
Yes. And then John Huber is very recently. He was a wrestler. He was one of the Wyatt brothers here recently in WWE. He was a champion over at AEW, apparently. I haven't watched a lot of wrestling here lately, but it was kind of surprised. He was only, I think, did they say 41 or 42? I mean, that's younger than me. And if something with his lungs, they said he didn't have COVID, but there was something happened with his lungs. I don't know if it's a complication from, a lot of these wrestlers, they get hurt and they don't sometimes realize how hurt they are. And I wonder if that wasn't, that he didn't get hurt, and that caused a problem. But moving along, Ken Spears and Joe Ruby both passed away this year.
Right.
They are the Ruby Spears of Ruby Spears.
Exactly. Well, and before they were Ruby Spears, they were with Hanna-Barbera. They are the ones who created Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yes. They created the formula that everyone tried to follow Scooby-Doo.
Exactly. But, they are certainly responsible for a good part of our Saturday mornings.
Oh, yes. Which I hear is in some fashion coming back. MeTV is claiming they're going to bring back Saturday mornings here in January.
Yep. They've got a Looney Tunes block. They've got a few other cartoons that are available. So hopefully we'll see some good stuff coming.
I'm getting my cereal bowl ready to go. I'm ready, man. I'm getting my cereal bowl out. I'm going to sit in front of the TV. I'm ready. So that's exciting. But of course, that stuff coming up. We've got a lot of things that I've made a list of a few things that because 2020, despite all the people who just passed away that we just talked about, 2020 had a lot of awesome things that happened.
Right.
And of course, I got to go with the first thing that happened. Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
There
First
you go.
Super Bowl ring. I mean, they haven't won the Super Bowl since Super Bowl II. So getting there was exciting. And then it was a neck and neck battle, and even they pulled this little trick college play where they did a turnaround, which they tried to do last Sunday and it didn't work. But it worked at the Super Bowl. But it was a neck and neck game, and the Chiefs finally come up with a Super Bowl victory. And this season is almost done, and maybe they're headed for it again. I mean, we still got a great offense around here, but what was great is Patrick Mahomes got to say the iconic line, "We've just won the Super Bowl number whatever it is. What are you doing next?" And of course, he got to say he went to New Jersey. Yeah, he went to Walt Disney World and got to be on the float, and that was great. That was a great thing this year. Now, some of you people don't care, and I bet we here the Chiefs are probably as annoying as the Patriots and a lot of these other teams. Everybody always hears about the quarterback constantly to where you're sick and tired of us. Like, that's all right. Be sick and tired of us. I'm enjoying it because we never have gotten this type of thing. You know, not since we had Joe Montana, but we got Joe Montana after he'd already had his Super Bowl victory in San Francisco. We finally got Joe Montana here, you know.
Hey, I was just going to say, be glad it wasn't Joe Montana.
He might be good. You never know. He might be good. But it seemed like we always got players after they had already had their great time at another team. They're like, I got a few more years left in my career. Let's come to Kansas City. So, but everything just finally came together here, and we're enjoying it. And we don't care if you're annoyed by us. We're playing. We're having a good time in Kansas City. Join in the train. Have some fun with us.
Oh, good.
Another thing happened in February: Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yes, which was surprisingly pretty good.
Yes, I loved it.
And also, I was just going to say, it is a very good example of how the fans speaking up can affect some change.
Yes.
As you might remember, the original design for Sonic didn't look very good.
It was a little creepy. They gave him human eyes.
Yeah. And within a week of that first trailer being released, the director came out and said, you know what, you're right. This doesn't look right. We're going to go ahead. We're going to make some changes. We're going to take it back, and we'll see what we can do. And they brought back a Sonic that's much more faithful, look-wise to the games.
Oh, yeah. They even went with like kind of the big cartoony eyes, and they made it work. And I like that. They had, for something like Sonic, I think they've proved that, if you just go for it and present it the way it should be, the way people know it from the games, it'll work. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully because they're talking about trying to do the Super Mario Brothers again, if they just go for it and make what people expect, it'll work. Not like what they did in the 90s, where they did, what in the world is this, Yeah, we won't talk about it too much. It is still kind of fun. I still kind of like to watch it. I haven't watched it in like 30 years, but, well, I guess it's been less than 30 years because that was, less than 30. It's been at least 20.
It was like 90, 91, 92.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the theaters because I was super excited for it. And I remember like, well, what is this? But it's kind of stupid fun. So I still kind of enjoyed it.
But a little heavy on the stupid rather than stupid.
Yeah, a little heavy on the stupid, but, But
hey, it's
was in it.
And it's got a great Dennis Hopper performance.
Yeah, well, of course, because it's Dennis Hopper.
Exactly.
So I still enjoyed it. Another thing I have in February, Battlefront 2 had a big update. Now, I haven't gone after this because I guess it's also you have to pay for an expansion, and I haven't done it. Have you?
I haven't. To be honest, all of my Star Wars gaming this year has focused around the game from last year, Jedi Fallen Order. And February is when I got it.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas and got stuck pretty quick. I was playing it kind of constant, and then I got stuck for a while. And then like, okay, I'm going to do something else. I'll come back to it. And I came back to it, got past where I got stuck, and then got stuck somewhere else. I'm like, okay. And I have come back to it, and I'm still stuck. So Battlefront 2, I guess, had a big update. And all I know is they brought in some Ewoks, and I think you could play as an Ewok, I thought.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, you can fight the Battle of Endor. They added a lot more battles for it, but, Battlefront 2 is meant to be played online, and I don't do a lot of online play. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't do much online play either. I prefer a campaign or a story where you can go through it.
But apparently it was really awesome there because everybody's telling me, oh, you got to get the update. And I'm like, well, I will. But then I saw it wasn't a free update. I was like, no, that's more downloadable content. So
right.
I'll get it probably eventually just to play with it because it's Star Wars. So
I'm going to be here. I'm just going to pop off the screen for a second.
Okay. Well, while he does that, on the 21st was the release of the final season of Clone Wars.
Yes.
We got introduced to the Bad Batch, which are getting their own series, but that's coming up for the next year.
Right.
I love the Bad Batch. They were like the A-team. They were so cool.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward with them. But they were not the only thing we got this season. We got the Siege of Mandalore.
Yes. Finally got to see that, and Darth Maul on Mandalore taking control, and Ahsoka getting to fight with Maul. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I hope I didn't just spoil that for anybody.
Well, but that ending though. That
was hot. That was good stuff. I may need to go watch it again. I've been trying to go and rewatch all the Mandalore style focused episodes of Clone Wars, and I'm going to come back and finish watching Rebels because there's so much that happened that's come back in the Mandalorian, which we're going to end up talking to that when we catch up to that to October.
Right.
But jumping into March, unless there's anything in February that you think I've left out that you can remember.
There's nothing that I can remember. You know, we always talk about how we're going to write down the stuff that happens, and we never do.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be better about it this coming year, but it's been a messed up year, and so I didn't keep track very well.
Well, you know, not to necessarily detract from what we're doing, but if you are looking for a good in-depth year in review style podcast, check out The Window to the Magic, which is going to be coming out here within the next week or so, and that's going to have a good look at everything that is all around the world of Disney.
Yeah, which was kind of rough. What is that noise? Are you playing with your lightsaber?
Well, I was going to bring that up later.
Anyway, so March brought us Onward.
Yes.
Which I've only watched once. I own a copy of it, and my wife still hasn't seen it, but I loved Onward. It was nice.
I really liked it. I'm the oldest of three brothers, and while we haven't lost our parents, the storyline, is still something that I could really relate to. Especially going out, hanging with your brother, going out on an adventure of some kind, trying to figure out what you're doing in this rundown van. I was fortunate enough to see it in the theaters just before the world turned upside down. But
Onward?
Yeah, Onward.
Yeah,
my wife's in the room with us. And then, only to find out a week later it was going to be available for digital download. So we went ahead and bought it as well at that time.
Yeah.
So
I went ahead. I waited for the Blu-ray. I think I ordered it through the Disney Movie Club even just because because they released it early. I'm like, I want it. Yeah, and I even have, I should have brought them up here with me, but I have some of the McDonald's toys. I didn't collect all of them, but I got some of them. Because I collect McDonald's toys sometimes when they're Disney. So that's actually all I have for March, because March is also the month that I got not furloughed, but I got sent to work from home, which began where I had a lot more time to sit and play some games, which leads me into April.
Well, before we get to April, though, I did have a wonderful experience in March when I got to ride Rise of the Resistance.
Nice. Yeah, that's something I didn't get in. I didn't get a lot of park stuff in here. Rise of Resistance just opened this year, didn't it?
Yeah, well, yes, back in January. It opened up in December in Disney World, but in January in Disneyland. And of course, with the parks being closed, it's made it a little bit more difficult to see and participate. But March also saw the opening of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which we can discuss when we get to October.
Yes, don't let me forget we got to bring that up.
Yes,
but so. I'm going to start something up here to play, and so I'll start sharing screen here in a little bit. So
do I need to get some mana?
Yeah, get some mana, because kind of a big thing here. Let me pull up the shared screen here. Share screen. I don't want to share the sound. Let's share the Windows Media Player. Here we go. And I had, ever since I heard of it, I had been looking forward to this. I can't find the right button. Here we go.
There you go.
So I'm going to mute the sound, so I'm not hearing it either. But the Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, and I had it reserved. I went ahead and I bought the full tilt copy, man. I got the big case with even the metal case that has Sephiroth in flames on the front. So it came a miniature version of the soundtrack. It came with a book of artwork. And then the nice thing is in April, I was furloughed, so I had nothing to do but sit at home. And thank God for this first stimulus package, because that was how we were able to stay afloat. I was able to collect unemployment, and I was still looking for some sort of work. But it gave me time to sit at home, and I played the dickens out of this game. I went through it. I did it on normal, and then I did it on easy just to build levels up so I could come back and do it on hard. I've nearly platinumed that game, and I'm actually, when I was making a video to recommend it as a Christmas sale, I started playing it again, and I've actually picked up a couple more achievements that I hadn't done, so I've got a couple more trophies.
Well, good.
So I might try to platinum the thing, although I missed one of them. There's like this motorcycle section that you have to get appraised for your driving, and I didn't succeed at that. So I can come back and try that again. But if I manage to get there's like only one, I got to get Cloud's third dress, and I'll get another trophy for that. And then I got to get through a little mini game with Tifa that was a real pain in the neck. But if I can get those, I can actually get the platinum on that thing. So this, it was such a godsend for me, because it took my mind off of my troubles and gave me something to obsess over. I even ended up, when they released a full soundtrack of the game, I could have bought it directly from Square Enix and got like hundreds of dollars for this set, but I just bought it off of Apple iTunes. I think for like $20 I could get a completed soundtrack. So I've got it digitally instead of getting hardcovers. And they had a really nice set you could get from Enix, but I didn't have that kind of money. So I was like, you know what? I want the music, because the music is fantastic. I got to say, the composer of these games, he is like the Japanese video game version of John Williams. I mean, the music is just so iconic in the Final Fantasy series, and to hear it fully orchestrated, it's fantastic.
Quite the thing, yeah.
It is just wonderful, a fantastic game, and that made my year. I cannot recommend this game enough, and I have heard that I think somewhere around January, the exclusive license Square Enix had with Sony will come to an end, and so they will be able to release it on other systems or on PC. So everybody else, if you didn't have it on PS4, now is going to be your chance very, very soon. Oh, I didn't mean to completely close that window. I'll stop sharing screens. That's okay, but I was done. I was moving on to the next thing. But that was definitely made my April. I mean, I spent months just playing that. If you go to our YouTube channel, Neverland, Disney and Beyond, you can find a lot of footage of my playthroughs. It was so fantastic. Wonderful, and I think I even mentioned on Facebook, like, Aerith was always kind of my favorite character out of the original, and I didn't finish the original because I found out what was going to happen to her. Plus, I don't like turn-based combat so much. Mm-hmm. And after I found that out, because spoilers in magazines, I was like, oh, I really liked her. To have her fully voiced and having a lot more to do, she's still my absolute favorite character in the games. And you start to see that she's very central to the entire story of Final Fantasy VII. And they left it I don't want to spoil anything, but they left it very open that maybe things could go differently this time. Because one of the biggest things with the original game, and I did take the time, I found the original game available for like $5 on PS4, with even some things where I could make the combat go faster, because I could automatically get my limit breaks. And so I could get through the combat pretty fast, so I could just go through the story. Right. So, but I forgot where my train of thought was before I went to there. But they did leave it open to where things could go different. Oh, yes, with the original game, after a certain thing happens, which I guess I already mentioned, people were looking everywhere. Is there a way to save Aerith? How can I have saved Aerith? Is there something I could have done differently? People were all over the place. So I know I wasn't alone thinking that she was a fantastic character.
Well, and it didn't help that they had a weapon that was exclusive to Aerith that was only available after that part of the game. So
yeah, it was very weird.
Yeah.
But apparently they had a plan. Originally it was going to be somebody else that died, but then they thought it would be more of an impact if Aerith was the one. They knew they wanted somebody, but then they chose Aerith and just broke us.
Yes.
They did it on purpose.
Well, I have to say I had a much more pleasant gaming experience myself in April. They weren't brand new games, but I certainly was able to. I delved into Lego Marvel Avengers.
Nice.
Is based around the first several Avengers movies. But I also got back into Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Ooh, yes. And you finished it now. Everything.
I finished it. Well, I've got 2 side quests left. No, 1. No, 2. 1 is getting all of the Korok seeds.
And you're going to try to get all of it?
I don't know. But the other
rewarded with a golden poop.
Yes. But the other is the Master Sword Trials, which I've gotten through the first set, but there are 2 more, and I've been able to survive only the first level of that second set. So it's a challenge.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
I have a hard time staying focused on it because there's not enough story to keep me motivated. It's a neat style of game, but for a Legend of Zelda game, I have, I guess, different things I liked about Legend of Zelda games that I haven't been able to keep focus on it. Plus, I can't play with my Switch because my wife is constantly playing Stardew Valley, so I never get to play with my Switch anymore anyway.
You know what? That's another thing. We discovered Animal Crossing this year.
That's something I forgot on the list. Animal Crossing came out about the same time as Final Fantasy VII. I want that one.
Yep, we have that. I let's just say there's a lot of minutes and hours that have been invested in that game too. But for my sake, that's one that I've shared with my kids as well, and that they have picked up and run away with. So it's been a good one.
Yeah,
it's been very enjoyable.
I will get into that one eventually, but what I would like to do is have a second Switch and then have 2 copies of the game. That way we can each have our own island and we can still interact. Mm-hmm. Because I hear you had to share your resources with your kids.
Exactly.
See, that would be rough because I'd want to do my island my own way. And if I have to share that same island with everybody in the household, I'd be like, oh, but come on, what'd you do to my tree? Yeah.
Hey, but there's a good way to sell more Switches.
There you go. There you go. And they did release, I think it was this year, basically, it's only the handheld version of a Switch. They kind of cut down a little bit where it doesn't set up into a TV. You can get a Switch for cheaper. And my wife is more comfortable, I guess, playing handheld, and I'm more comfortable on the TV with a different controller. So I'm thinking, well, maybe with our tax returns here this year, maybe we can get it.
No, possibly.
I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure that will just eat up all my time, my free time, probably going to Animal Crossing, because I've watched so much video on it, and it just looks just delightful and just nice.
It is. It's a nice game. You get an opportunity to, create and, set your island up just the way that you want to, and, it's a good, relaxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that there's a game that came out it's been out for a while, but it became popular this summer. That might not be quite so relaxing.
Oh, it can be if you're as evil and devious as I can be. I've got an acting background, so when given the opportunity to lie, I can be good at it. Among Us, which has been out for like 2 years, and I was pretty sure it was around in May that I first saw some stuff about it, and then found out on Steam you could get it for $5. Now you can play it for free on your phone, but I don't think I could type as quickly on my phone when having conversations to try to figure out who is the imposter. And if you have not seen anything or know anything about this is basically, imagine you're on a spaceship and everybody's got jobs to do on a spaceship, but one of you on the ship, at least one, if not 2 or 3, is an imposter who can murder you, sabotage, and just wreck your whole day. But you get to come together and try to figure out who that imposter is and eject them off the ship.
It's like a digital version of the game, the party game Mafia.
Mafia or Werewolf plays the same thing, different names. Which there are actually now video games that are kind of that. There's like a village one where everybody who plays has a different role in the village, but somebody is a werewolf and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of like that. But where my deviousness comes out is the last time I was playing, we had voice chat on with some people, and I have video of this on the Neverland page, on our YouTube page. My acting was able to come out, and I twice got a guy ejected. One time, I thought he maybe was the imposter, and I was just wrong. The second time, I was the imposter. He had me dead to rights, and I convinced everybody to eject him. And I kept going, and I won as the imposter. I am evil on that game. But mainly if you get to hear me talk, because typing I'm not as convincing, but I can act. And I'll turn it right on, and you'll never know. But I've had some people have been so devious on that. I had one person that I trusted this person. And they said, all right, can somebody watch my back when I go and do this task? And I'm like, I'll do it. We go into the room to do that task. He turned around and killed me. I was like, no. So I've also seen some people cheat. I was live streaming one time on our Neverland channel, and somebody who was watching me play live got into the game with me because they could code their way in, because it gives you a code of where everybody's game is. So he got in to play with me, but he saw that I was the imposter, and without giving any reason, just told everybody, trust me, we need to eject him. And we ended up kicking the person because we're like, well, you have nothing to go on, and you're really being weird. And I figured, oh yeah, he's cheating. He's watching me live stream. So never live stream that game with anybody who can join the game. I still see some people do it, but it's not a good idea because people can watch you online and figure out who the imposter is. If you're the imposter, the streamer, they know. So people started cheating all over the place on that. Which, like another multiplayer game at the Fall Guys. I never played this one.
Yeah.
But I heard people found ways to be annoying and cheat on that, and so now it's driving some people nuts so they don't play that anymore. But I never did get around to that one. I don't know if that costs money or not.
Yeah, I think
if I can play it on Steam.
Yeah, I think you have to pay up front for it. I don't believe it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah, I might look into it one time and play it on Steam, but I'd rather have a controller. Well, I can play it with a controller on Steam. So I think it's available on the PS4, but I don't play online on my PS4.
Well, I would think that, playing a game like Among Us, it's all just keystrokes and whatnot. But, when you can really get in and punch someone, put a little bit of force, strike hard, strike fast, have no mercy.
That's right. Because in June, Cobra Kai came to Netflix.
Yes. And
it's only got more popular than ever. I mean, I had my ways of watching it on the YouTube. But getting to sit on Netflix and sit there and watch it again, and all the people who finally got a chance to see it realize this is a great show.
Yes.
Although there's a few I would call a little bit past PG-13. A few moments in the first season that I don't think were necessary because I don't think it felt part of the spirit of the original movies.
Yeah, I was sharing the series with my parents and forgot that those couple of moments popped up.
Yeah, and it's like, oops, but other than that, it's a great show.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that happened this year, and too bad Philip couldn't join me today, but he picked up there is a Cobra Kai game that I forgot the name of the company. They made that. They also made a pretty cool G.I. Joe game. But they made a Cobra Kai game, and it's basically like a Streets of Rage style game. And it's pretty fun. We've played it. I think we were playing it one time as part of the podcast. Because we were reviewing it live. The company that made that one and G.I. Joe, they're very, very buggy. They kind of rush this stuff out. But they do go and they listen to figure out where the bugs are, and they go back and patch it and fix it pretty quick. So
good.
But it's pretty fun. I don't know what the current cost of it on the PlayStation is, but I think it's kind of worth it. It is kind of a fun game. But speaking of games that came for the PS4, and I think you can get it on a lot of other systems, but they re-released Star Wars Pod Racer. Did you get this?
I'm able to access it through the PS Now application.
Really? It's in there now?
Yeah.
Oh, I went and I paid money for it. Because I was like, really? Wow. So, yeah, it was only like $5 or something like that. And I remember playing it on the old Nintendo 64 back in the day.
Did you ever play it with two controllers?
I don't think I ever did, but that's got to be similar to like the Pod Racer arcade game where you had like that could have been interesting. That'd have been tough though.
But it was.
The best thing about it is having the one time.
Oh, these outlanders, they come to my store. They don't buy anything. What's wrong?
Watto makes that game fun. Even though he says the same thing every time. I love it, though. I got a little bit of footage on that, I think, on our YouTube. By the way, have you all subscribed to the YouTube channel? If you're watching this video, then you're on the YouTube. But if you're hearing the audio, did you know we're on YouTube? Because we got a lot of stuff there. Okay, well, let's jump to July. And all right, so the first thing, you know the name, now you own the watch. Hamilton finally came out to Disney Plus So I finally got a chance to sit and watch it after hearing so much about it. And subtitles probably does help to kind of catch some of the lyrics at first. But once you kind of find your groove in watching it, that was very enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked it.
Well, I've been listening to the Hamilton soundtrack for years now. In fact, my daughter was the one who got me interested in it. And, to finally see it in full living color, to watch the performances, to see how they actually tweaked it a little bit for a movie watching audience was really, really fantastic. And I was going to be traveling by car the following day for about 10 hours. So I stayed up right until the point where I could download it and have it. So I could have it to watch during that drive.
Yeah. That was really, it was great to be able to finally see it because you'd hear so much about it. And, and a part of you is like, I'm tired of hearing about this. And you're prepared to just like, I'm going to buck the trend and I'm going to not like it. But then you watch it like, let me just take a look. And you're like, you get pulled in. I'm like, this is pretty grooving. I mean, by the time George Washington came out, that actor was great, which he's the guy who played Moana's dad, if I remember correctly.
Well, he sang the role for Moana's father.
And then, of course, the guy playing King George was hilarious. That at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm in this now. All right, I'm very entertained. So, yeah, keep going.
Just make sure you're not in the splash zone.
There's a splash zone?
Well, King George, the actor got a little excessive with fluids from his mouth.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, just a bit.
Just slightly.
Yeah, as Matt Morginski of the Supertones used to say, I spit when I rap. Oh, yes. But the next thing in July, on July 10th, they re-release brand new versions of real Ghostbusters figures. And I should have brought it down. I've got an Egon still in package up on the my counter or my bookshelf. I should probably pick up some of the other ones. But there's some other figures that took my time. We'll get to that when we hit October. But
it's just awesome how close they are to the original figures.
Yeah, but the Origins ones are close, but the real Ghostbusters figures are the same figures. It is fantastic. They even come with a little ghost. I think there's a little difference on the packaging that they pointed out, where it doesn't have the phrase "We ain't afraid of no ghosts" because there turned out to be some copyright or something. They didn't quite get cleared. So the packaging's just a little different, but these real Ghostbusters, it is the same figures. They just remade them. That's not exactly Kenner, but Kenner was bought out by what, Mattel?
Yeah.
But I think Mattel has been big on. I mean, there's even new G.I. Joe figures that are remaking their old ones. But there's another set of figures we'll get to in October that are a little different from the original, but are fantastic. But then August, Bill and Ted finally faced the music.
Finally.
And I got to go out to a drive-in to watch this, and I hadn't been to the theater since Onward at this point, I guess. But yeah, because I don't think there was any movies after Onward that I got a chance to go out and see because the world went upside down. Did you get a chance to go out to a theater to see it, or did you watch it at home?
No, we watched it at home, but I bought it through Apple, and want to make sure that I have that. I love the first two movies. They're just the right blend of the things I enjoy about the 80s and 90s. And I was really looking forward to what this new movie had in store.
Yep. And it was just fun and nice. It was
exactly
nostalgia. Just it was a warm, fuzzy movie.
Exactly.
It wasn't as good as the original, but it was good.
Right. Yes.
You're never going to top the original.
No, you can't capture that magic. Or that lightning in a bottle twice. But still, definitely enjoyable. Definitely a fun, hour and a half.
It was totally excellent. Oh, totally. So
Party
definitely not a bogus movie. Now I still want to see my Wayne's World meet Bill and Ted. Come on, somebody's got to make it happen.
Get Mike Myers on the phone.
Get Mike Myers and Lorne Michaels on the phone and say, "Hey, look, Keanu's a bigger star than you are. You want to be in a movie with Keanu now?"
There you go.
He will get totally John Wick on you if you don't do this. I'm telling you. Of course, I guess Keanu's going to be busy because we have heard Matrix 4 is happening now.
Yes.
I don't know how that's going to work, but okay, I'm in. But September now rolls around, and the only thing I really remembered about September is I've never been to Batu. You've been like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah. Been a handful of times.
I've been virtually on The Sims 4, which I don't know. I think I even said I don't know if it was worth paying the extra money to get the Star Wars expansion on The Sims 4, but it's kind of cool that you can get Star Wars stuff on The Sims 4, and you got a virtual version of the whole Batuu in the park, even with having one bathroom that is far away from anything that you're going to do. Anywhere that you would eat or drink something, the bathroom is on the other side of the park. I'm like, they must have done exactly Disney style.
They did.
So, but it's kind of cool that it came out, and it gave me something to do for a little while to fool around with. I haven't done everything in it because it's too much. You're still just playing The Sims, and I wanted to have more interaction. I wanted to fly the ships instead of just my Sim and do it themselves. I wanted to do it, and I'm like, oh, this is disappointing. I'd have more fun if this was a Lego Star Wars game.
Well, and there is a virtual reality game now that takes you to Batuu.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh no!
there is a virtual reality game headset and all of that where you can go and you can interact with the people, or not with the people, but with the citizens of Batuu.
Nice.
Now you can actually go in and you can see Mubo. You can converse with Balkondar. There's a bit more interactivity than what you're going to have with The Sims.
Nice.
And
I did see though, R2-D2 apparently is wandering around Batuu now. That happened this year. I remember. I don't remember when that happened, but they have an R2-D2 that's supposed to be roaming around.
I know they have one on display, but if I see him, I'll definitely get a pic.
So I remember when I was going over our Facebook page. I remember that news story. I think that might have started in the fall, but they had an R2-D2 that would actually roam around the park. Now they probably have. I don't know if they have somebody being C-3PO or something with it, but. They probably, they're keeping an eye on it to make sure nobody does something,
exactly
too much to cause a trouble with it, because it probably works a lot similar to who's the talking trash can that used to be there? Push. I bet it works similar to Push, where somebody is somewhere, has the control and keeps an eye on it, make sure everything runs fine. But when I was looking back to research stuff, I remember seeing that. I was like, R2-D2 is wandering around the parks now. How cool!
Well, and it would fit right in because Rey and Chewbacca, as well as Kylo Ren and Stormtroopers, they are still out and about. You can still see them. You might not be able to get up close and personal to the face characters, but the Stormtroopers are definitely on the march.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's why you have a hard time maybe finding R2-D2, because I wonder if they've tried to tuck it away because they don't want too many people touching it, because what if somebody passes something? They're probably, because how cool is it they can have a free roam on R2-D2, but then suddenly like, maybe we don't want to have everybody touching it just in case.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Just in case. So, all right, let's get into October, and I'm going to get up for a second.
Okay.
And you're going to entertain the people.
All right. Well, October for me meant it was my opportunity to go back to Walt Disney World and to visit Batuu. And we did talk about this a couple months ago, but one of my favorite memories is getting a little something.
Oh, yes. That happened in October, didn't it?
Yes.
Indeed. Speaking of
and
Batuu.
Again, that, the entire lightsaber building process is still, it's so incredible and indelible. How they go into it and tell you about the history. And again, it's something that, like another event that came a little bit later this year, it's something that for me was very personal and did bring me very, very close to tears as this other event a little bit later this year.
Yeah, and use gift cards. Collect gift cards.
Yes.
Because it works. You can use gift cards to get your lightsaber.
And they'll accept them on Batuu.
Yes. But one thing that by the time we were starting to get into the fall, I was starting to get stressed out because the unemployment benefits were run out. I had to make sure I was working. And I did start working in the fall, but I was working part-time, and it was kind of a stressful time. But now it said the wave one is supposed to come out in October. I thought I started getting them a little sooner than that. But when I was a kid, I never had He-Man. of the Master Universe Origin figures came out October 9th is when I was finding it. I actually never had He-Man. I had a Skeletor, a Man-at-Arms, a Tila, and then later I did get an Orko. So this was special to me that they released these. And because Matty Collector had a habit, they kept releasing all these different Master Universe toy lines that were $50 figures. And they were super nice, but I wasn't going to spend $50. Especially when back in the 80s, $3. Yeah. $3. Now, I had to pay $15 for these. And this, what those of you who are watching the video can see in my hand, I'm holding a He-Man out of package. I bought 2 He-Mans and 2 Skeletors because Wave 1 has been loaded with He-Mans and Skeletors. And I wanted some that I could have. Of course, I've had these sitting out on the table. I could pose them. But I kind of wanted to have them over here on my desk because I fiddle with things on my desk sometimes when I'm recording. But it was so cool, I got it. Whoops, and Skeletor dropped his sword. Skeletor, I have a hard time keeping a hold of his stuff. When I have him pose over there, he's got his Havoc staff in one hand and a sword in the other. But I got a couple extra ones just so I could take a couple out of the package. And just holding them in my hands again brings back so much for me that this was a great stress relief and really helped me get through the fall as things have been. And I'm still in a very stressful time, considering I only work 3 hours of my regular job a day. So I'm not in the greatest of shape. But holding these in my hands again takes me back to being 7 years old and watching the Filmation series back in '82, and then getting some figures on my 7th birthday. Yeah, that's when I got those figures. But this has been super special. And I collected all of Wave 1, including the vehicle, which comes with Prince Adam. I forgot what it's a Sky Sled.
Yes.
With Prince Adam, and then Battle Cat and a large figure. And I even got Hot Wheels did a Wind Raider. It's really small, but I got that as well. But these have been so special just to have on the wall. And I've sat here at my desk when I'm waiting for video to compile or something like that. When I've been doing a lot of video filming and editing, some freelance work. It's been nice to just kind of have these and just kind of, I don't know, they feel good in my hands. And if if I sit here and start fiddling around and playing with them, I don't care. I'm 43 years old. I can play with toys if I want to. You know?
I know, and I need to get these figures. My very first Motu figure was Man-E-Faces.
Oh, yes.
I just thought he looked so awesome.
Wave 2, I believe he's part of Wave 2, coming in January.
So, I can't wait, and hopefully I'm allowed to buy one.
Well, if you budget out and you can set aside, so this is my money to do fun things with, and hit up a Walmart or Target. It's going to be a Target now. Yeah. So I started to collect some of the ones that are made like the old figures but colored after the Filmation series. I've got a couple of those, and I have found a website that Big Bad Toy Store that I want to hit them again because I don't. They have a She-Ra coming in Wave 3 of the Origins figures, but it's made to look like the old She-Ra figure, which to me looks terrible. But the Filmation style She-Ra that they have, I want that way. Mm. So that is on my want list. So we'll see what this year brings. So hopefully I'll be able to pick it up. I did. Although this year they also brought out the WWE or Masters of the WWE, where they kind of put out some characters as if they were Master of the Universe characters. And well, other than the fact that I also kind of want to get a Hulk Hogan, but you have to buy a Snake Mountain ring to do that. But all by himself, I was able to pick up Mr. T, dressed as a Master of the Universe, and I had to get because he's Mr. T. I had to get a Mr. T figure, so he's up on my wall as well. So these really helped get me through the last of the year. Not to mention, I had to have something to do waiting for October 30th when The Mandalorian Season 2 premiered.
And not only did it premiere, not only did we get Din Djarin and, well, at the time, the child back, but we got an iconic suit. We got a crate dragon.
Oh, yes.
We got an incredible battle.
And I want to be careful I don't spoil it, because I know my wife actually hasn't watched it yet, and my wife is actually downstairs right now with my sister-in-law watching Season 1, because my sister-in-law doesn't have Disney+, so she's over there watching the first season. And I told my wife, you need to watch Season 2, because I can't discuss this with you, because I don't want to spoil it. So a lot of us probably watching this video or listening to this podcast have probably watched all of it, but I don't want to take the chances, because holy cow, who'd have knew what was going to happen there at the end?
Yeah.
That was so great.
And, fantastic surprises, all throughout the season with the characters that we are, some of them reintroduced to. The storyline, it seemed like it was, side quest after side quest after side quest, but they all built on one another.
Yes.
There were lessons and there were thematic things happening in each of those episodes, to make that ending all the more resonant and emotional.
And even something from one of the video games that is now canon and has been brought into a television series. I got such a kick out of those things showing up. I won't say what they were, but I was like, oh, and they looked just like I remembered them from the old game. They were as terrible as to defeat as they were in the old game, because I remember having to fight them in the game that they appeared in. I was like, how do you kill these things? And when they showed up and poor Din is trying to fight them off, I was like, you're not going to win this fight. I should know. I fought them back in the 90s. Oh, having those things show up, and y'all probably know what I'm talking about by now. If you know what I know, I mean, having those show up, and I was like, and they're just as scary as I thought they would be. Oh,
well, and let's just say again, not making any, not giving away any spoilers, but the characters that appeared alongside Din in that episode, exactly.
Oh, that was such a great episode. And finally, we get to match the reputation up with the guy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We see why he was supposed to be so awesome, because holy cow! Yeah, and also proved once again the Stormtrooper armor is garbage.
Yes. Now, again, I don't want to give away any spoilers. We talked about Moana's father earlier. Christopher Jackson was the singing voice.
Right.
Just, that particular actor for this particular character we're discussing was the speaking voice for Moana's father.
Right. So great. Yes, and he's voiced some other characters that you might know. Yes, we'll just leave it at that. And it has also been pretty well impersonated a lot in other things. I don't think he did the voices in another thing, but they pretty much copied him. Whoever it is did the voices there. He also did some of the original Battlefront games and did a really good job.
Yeah.
But another thing I just want to throw in the middle of October, because it was something that kind of cool that actually happened in October. We actually started having some real peace agreements, not just peace talks in the Middle East, but actual agreements in Sudan and stuff like that.
Yeah, our policy for so long has been, this is who we need to reach out to, and this is who we need to try and placate. And say what you will about administrations and policies and procedures, but they have gone on a different way to approach this, and it has been absolutely incredible seeing how the Middle East is starting to acknowledge the other countries in the area, and to see the cross-cultural things that are happening has been absolutely incredible.
Yes. So doesn't fit in with the normal, all the other stuff we've been talking about, but that was significant of being a good thing that happened this year. And
yes,
I hope that manages to stand for a while, because we got a new administration coming in. So hopefully they're able to keep it going. I don't know, but I don't want to get too far into that, because Animaniacs came back. And I still, I haven't watched all but the one episode, which it was funny. I don't know if it was as funny as the original, but maybe I need to get and watch the rest of the episodes. It seemed like the first episode was too obsessed with "we're back," and they just had like 2 or 3 songs of "we're back," and I was like, I get it. Come on, make me laugh. I was like, I already love you. Come on.
And yeah, it's not quite the same. Pinky and the Brain are fantastic. I don't think that there was a segment of Pinky and the Brain that I really didn't enjoy. But there's something about the Animaniacs themselves. There's a little bit of a spark, but there are a lot of great, well, I won't say a lot, but there's some fantastic callbacks to the original series. And even though the characters from that original series aren't prominent, we do get a really good look at them at one point. And so some very interesting commentary on that as well.
I need to watch the rest of them, because I think part of the problem is on Hulu they have the original series, and I started going back and watching the old classic series before I watched the new one, and I'm like, Love the classic. This is okay.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty good. So I need to watch the rest of it because I bet if I kept going, I probably would very much enjoy the rest of the show. So, but I still love. I was in high school. I remember when that came out, and we still loved it like it was kids. Of course, I still love to watch cartoons. I mean, heck, earlier I was making plans. I'm spending some Saturday mornings watching some Looney Tunes on MeTV when I'm going to have my bowl of cereal. Plus, speaking of cereal, I just want to throw this in there. And I don't recommend this stuff, but there is a Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie cereal.
Okay.
I don't really recommend it. It's not a bad cereal, but it doesn't taste like what you would hope it would taste like.
So stick with the Twinkie cereal then.
I haven't tried that one. Have you?
No, I haven't. I'm not supposed to.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably not supposed to either. But I wanted to try some. With my new dietitian and everything, they have loosened things up for me because they know you can go crazy. Everything, you just got to keep in balance. Once you kind of get yourself under control, you can balance things pretty good. But when you're trying to get yourself under control, you kind of have to really watch it. So. And that's even another thing. Speaking of my own health, there's something good this year. The new endocrinologist team that I'm seeing for my diabetes, we have a goal of getting me off the insulin in 6 months.
Fantastic.
So we'll see how that goes. And so I'm trying to be better. I'm drinking more water because that was one of the things I said. Like dry soda is okay, but you really need water. So I'm being good. I'm drinking lots of water.
Good.
So November. This is also. This is a weird story, but I remember seeing it thinking it was kind of cool. The largest White Castle on Disney property was breaking ground in November.
Well, it's the only White Castle on Disney property.
Well, I think with being largest, it might be the largest in the world is what they're either there, at least the largest in the United States. Mm-hmm. So that's what Disney needed, a big White Castle. And I'm one of them weird people. Okay, because I know the world's divided. Some of us really love White Castle. Some people hate it. I love it. Steamed burgers, come on. We get to pretend it's healthier because they're a little small. They're like little burger vitamins, as Jim Gaffigan says about the little mini muffins. They're like little muffin vitamins. These are like little hamburger vitamins. They're only about this big. They fit on a small biscuit. You can eat it in 2 bites. And now it's so large that even Harold and Kumar could find it, right? Okay.
There you go.
I never even saw that movie, but.
I've never had a White Castle, I'll be honest.
Goodness.
It's not a West Coast thing, although we did get a franchise up in Scottsdale, Arizona, last year, I believe. I know we've got the big, burger coastal wars between White Castle on the East Coast and In-N-Out on the West. But for my money, it's Five Guys.
I do love me some Five Guys. I got one nearby. They're expensive, but...
That they are.
But it's so good. And one of my favorite videos on YouTube is the guy who did the food reviews. And he goes into a Five Guys and he comes out with a bacon cheeseburger and he eats it. And somebody has even set him to music of his reaction, which I can't say here because it's not our type of show. But it cracks me up. Have you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen this?
No idea. Haven't seen it.
I'm going to send this to you. He does drop a word that's not necessary. It's still PG, the word he drops, but it's still, it's not a word we drop on this show. But it's hilarious that when somebody set him to music as he's eating this hamburger. But it's a fantastic thing. Anyways, but then, November brought us the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. And it was good this time. It was funny. Because it's Lego Star Wars.
And it touched upon every era of the saga.
And thank God Itchy didn't come walking in. So they fixed everything that was wrong about the other one, except for I kind of still wish we could have had some whip stir.
Yes, it definitely could have used some Harvey Korman.
Yeah, because you still got to love the Harvey Korman. That's the best part of that, other than the Boba Fett cartoon or the original holiday special. But
that it is, friend.
This one was I loved it. It was just silly and fun and completely not serious, not canon at all. It's just silly and fun. And I enjoyed it immensely.
No, and it also had a good theme about, leadership and, education and, again, a little bit about failure and learning through failure.
Yep. And did confirm, though, in my opinion, that Finn's force sensitiveness.
Yes.
And even I wish they'd have brought the girl in. I forgot her name though from Rise of Skywalker because I'm pretty sure she was force sensitive, and it's like these are the new students. So
well,
I did like that.
From our announcements that we got, we do know that girl's going to be involved in one of the new series.
Yeah, see, I didn't look in too far in the series because I meant to look at it and be surprised when I talk about it.
Gotcha.
So, because I remember I was so busy just posting that all this stuff was coming up on the Disney Investor Day that I haven't dove into these yet. We're going to dive into it pretty soon. We're not even halfway done with the show here, folks. You buckle up, all right? So, the last thing I want to put in November, this made me happy. Christmas Chronicles 2 came on Netflix. And I actually just finally got around to watching it actually this week. But did you see this one? It was delightful.
I know my kids have watched it a couple of times while I've been at work. They're homeschool. I don't know what they're doing watching TV while I'm at work. But no, they have seen it a couple of times while they've been on their winter vacation. And I've only slipped in at like the very end.
Oh, goodness.
I saw something about a human turning into an elf, and I thought, okay, that's a bit uncanny.
Well, it's not when you see the beginning, because that was an elf that got cursed and turned into a human, and he's freed from his curse and gets to become an elf again. I'm sorry, I just spoiled it, but it was it was so much fun. It hit on everything we loved about like the original one, but brought in a little that level of the Santa Claus Tim Allen series of how fun the North Pole and the magic of all that is. So it was a little bit like that, but it's just fun. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are just perfect for what they were doing with Santa Claus and Mr. Claus.
It's not a sequel to Overboard, then.
No. Definitely not a sequel to Overboard, but it is just fun and magic. And even this year, they have another great show on Netflix, Jingle Jangle, with Forrest Whitaker. I had some problems with the sound editing on there because, like, the songs were loud and the dialogue was quiet. And then I had a big question at the end of why the kids didn't notice that building there, that being so significant. How did they never see it? It's right outside the window. But it's another good one it's not as good as Christmas Chronicles, I thought, but I really enjoyed that one. That was a nice one too. So we had some nice Christmas movies to get to watch this year, which was great. And I watched them all, read it up at the week of Christmas because I needed my Christmas spirit. So man, I dug out my old classics, my Rankin Bass. Which, speaking of which, Disney Plus have found out they had Small One, which that's a good one. It will not cause the waterworks as much as the Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey, but it was similar to the Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey. That was a good one. So yeah, I really enjoyed getting to watch a lot of Christmas stuff this year, and especially in moving into December. I haven't got to watch the entire video, but there's these guys that invented a plasma lightsaber and got into the Guinness Book of World Records for it.
It is incredible.
It is so cool. I don't know if we can trust humans with these things.
No.
Yeah, I'd be careful. As much as I would want one, I know I would do something stupid and accidentally cut my arm off with it or something. So, but how cool is that? Somebody managed to come up with it It's not in a complete identical, but the fact that they can make it come out to a certain point and stop is impressive.
Right.
So I don't think you could reflect a laser bolt. I don't think you can clash two of them together, but you can cut through a Captain America shield.
Oh, yes.
That's pretty awesome. And then there were two big movies on the 25th of December, but I'm only going to talk about one of them as a good thing that happened this year, and that was Soul. The other movie that came out, not so much a good thing that happened this year because that was a disappointment. But Soul was good. Did you get?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I saw both of the movies. But Soul, quite good. Mm-hmm. Definitely not targeted towards kids.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
It's something there to help make you think and and really internalize. The story is about finding a spark, but it's also how does that affect your life, and what happens if that spark doesn't come to fruition. So
what happens when it becomes an obsession, and so much so that you forget. I loved the theming of noticing the simple things in life and how special everything about life, and that the character arc. And I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but the character arc of two there coming and saying, "Oh, there's no reason to ever be born onto this earth when they get a chance to be on Earth, and they're like, just the little helicopter feeds, and special moments of candy and all these different things, realizing life is just worth living for the simple little things.
Right.
Oh, it's not my favorite Pixar movie, but it was good. Because it wasn't as funny as some other Pixar's, although they had some really good jokes they get in. They have some really good stuff that made me laugh out loud. It's like Inside Out. Inside Out is really good. It's not necessarily that funny, but it's so good. And Soul wasn't really that funny, but it was so good. And it made you feel good, and it made you stop and think. It really did. Because as I've been saying it now for a while, Pixar is beating the heck out of Disney Animation. Pixar has not failed yet, and Disney Animation has had a few that have come out that I'm like, it was okay. But Pixar, I haven't really had, even stuff that people like The Good Dinosaur, I'm one of the few people who really enjoyed that one. So I haven't really had that many Pixar movies that have been like, well, that was okay. Pixar is just full cylinders, man. I love Pixar. But all right, is there anything I did not bring up for the past year that we need to discuss before we go diving in?
Probably, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I try to get everything I could think of. So 2021, and a few things I've listed out, they're probably going to pop up more than one time. Dinosaurs is going to be on Disney Plus, which I think was on Netflix, I think, years ago, and because I remember we're trying to rewatch a little bit of it, but it'll be on Disney Plus though, so I'm hopefully going to try to find some time to watch it. Snow White's Enchanted Wish. So while Disneyland has been closed all this time, they thought, you know what, let's kind of retool. They had some things they wanted to do with the Snow White. I think they're bringing in some of the high-tech stuff that we've seen in Walt Disney World with the Mine Train ride. So they've been enhancing it, and they kind of showed a little bit to us. It looks really cool. Now, I kind of will miss the scary adventures that it was, but this looks really cool. So
yeah, definitely a change.
And this is probably going to pop up on one of my other things, but Raya in the
Raya and the Dragon.
This March, I still want to see it in the theater. Unfortunately, it's going to be on Disney Plus only. Maybe they'll change their minds by March, and we'll get to go to the movie theater for it.
Hopefully, we'll see some changes coming along.
We got to see some teasers for it this year, and I mean, I'm excited. That looks cool. So hopefully, that's Disney Animation hitting their stride again. So it pleases me. I mean, yeah, I'm sure plenty of you were okay with Frozen 2. I didn't even want to watch Frozen 2. I feel like I'm more of a vintage Disney guy. That I don't think I've enjoyed a Disney animated feature as much as Wreck-It Ralph since Wreck-It Ralph. I'm trying to think. Well, I did like Moana. Moana was good, yes, but it wasn't as good as like Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled was. But I did love Moana was good though.
Yeah,
and Zootopia is pretty good, but I don't know. There's something about the magic just not being there. So that's my own opinion. So So somehow they're just. Well, Moana was still. I think Moana was better than Zootopia. Zootopia was pretty good, but Moana was better. But they didn't live up to like Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled did, in my opinion. So, anyways, then I've got a link I got to click into because there was just so much. Because we had that Disney investors meeting, and let's just slide down. So WandaVision, it's January.
Yes,
January 15th. Woo!
Finally, some Marvel content.
Yes. So, and a lot of stuff is coming out later. We got a 2022. March 25th is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is 2022. But we're also looking forward to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, streaming March 19th. Which, I think I did watch that teaser. Then Loki, we got our look at Loki, which is coming to Disney Plus. I don't know if we have an exact date for Loki. But I think it's supposed to be January. I think.
I don't remember January, but it's definitely coming this year.
It's coming this year. Also this year, we got that the Marvel Studios What If animated series is supposed to come out this summer. Looks very, very cool. Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. That's expected to open July 9th, 2021. We got to see Ms. Marvel. That's coming late 2021. I'm a wait and see on this one. I'm not that excited about the character personally, but we did also get to find out Captain Marvel 2 is in the way, and they're actually going to have Spectrum in there, which I think they brought. I forgot the character's name.
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, wasn't she like Carol Danvers' friend?
She was the daughter of Carol
The
Danvers'
daughter.
friend.
Okay, I knew this.
Remember, that was set back in the 90s.
Right. So she could be
here we
grown
are.
up now.
Yeah, close to 30 years later. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe she'll pop up in something we might not be expecting to see her pop up in.
I don't know. Well, instead that she's supposed to be in Spectrum. She's supposed to be at Spectrum. They released some news. Hopefully it wasn't just a rumor. But, yeah.
No, we may see her sooner than we expect.
You think so? Like in maybe WandaVision, she might pop up. Who knows? We'll see. I don't know. I don't know of anything else. There is some moving on with a Hawkeye series supposed to be late 2021. We still have a She-Hulk comedy series that is in the works. Mark Ruffalo is supposed to pop up in that. We also have a Moon Knight series coming. We don't know if that's going to be this year or not. It doesn't say. Secret Invasion, which is going to be a series.
Yeah.
Now this is. I was expecting this might have been the next set of Avengers films, but I'll take it as a series. They can really dive into the whole, because I want to see how they handle it, because that's a whole Skrulls are the bad guys, and they need to reestablish Skrulls that, Skrulls aren't very nice either, because they kind of went the wrong direction there in Captain Marvel.
Well, there's a very interesting thing going on in Marvel Comics right now with the Skrulls, as well as the Kree, which, could be informing what's happening there. But I think part of this is all to set up Teddy Altman as Hulkling.
Huh. Well, we'll see. I haven't been able to keep up on the comics in a long time now. I ain't got the kind of money. I've been putting my money into buying He-Man figures. But we've got an Ironheart series. I'm not that familiar with that character. All I know is that's the girl who is also brilliant, who finds out a way to make her own armor.
Riri Williams.
Yeah, which that will lead us into an Armor Wars. I think it's a limited series. Mm-hmm. Don Cheadle gets to return as War Machine. Now, with Armor Wars, I kind of thought they should have done this when they still had Tony Stark alive, but oh well. It'll be a good War Machine story. Oh, I got hiccups. Pardon me. We do know James Gunn is supposed to come back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. I don't know what to expect from this, but it's going to be awesome.
I don't think any of us do.
Yeah. There's also going to be a series of shorts called I Am Groot coming to Disney+. Christian Bale is apparently going to be Gore the God Butcher in Thor Love and Thunder. I guess, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about DC crossing over to Marvel. And there you go. Batman's coming over. So, at least there's Batman. Anyways, Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly are returning in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania with King the Conqueror. I mean, come on.
I think that's given us a picture of where Phase 4 is heading.
Yeah, because King the Conqueror, that is no small potato.
No.
Black Panther 2 is still coming. I think I don't know if we've got confirmation, but I think like his sister, I forgot her name, is supposed to maybe be taking on the mantle, because it has happened in the comics. So I think we might be seeing that. That would be pretty cool. So, and then Marvel Studios also announced a Fantastic Four feature film directed by John Watts. Third time's a charm, perhaps.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah.
But you know what else he's directed?
And I know there's something else. I cannot think of it.
Well, he directed Homecoming and Far From Home.
I liked one of those movies. So,
well, and what am I thinking of? No, I think that was Endgame that was in. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Please continue.
To be fair, though, I am very particular on a Spider-Man movie. And you got to get everything just right for me to be happy.
Well, and it's not part of this article, but there was also a recent announcement that Disney and Sony have again renegotiated their deal for an additional 3 Spider-Man movies beyond what the current deal calls for.
All right, so we'll just see what comes from that. I'm still curious because we did see that that teaser for Morbius, and they kind of flashed like the old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man a little bit on the wall. So I kind of wonder what that's about, what Sony's up to.
Interesting.
But we got a lot of Star Wars things too. Rogue Squadron, not based on any games, not based off any books. A whole new Star Wars feature film with director Patty Jenkins. And I think some people have been kind of criticizing her director because they didn't really like this new Wonder Woman 84. But I don't think it's Patty Jenkins' fault, really. The movie was okay. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as it should have been. It was disappointing. So I think Patty Jenkins is capable of making a very cool Rogue Squadron movie. So I'm looking forward to see what they come up with for that one.
Yeah, and the teaser for that, they did show her, and she did describe that she comes from a family of pilots.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely going to factor in to what's going on. And I'll be honest, one of my favorite parts about Wonder Woman 84 was the sequence where they get the jet and they take off and they're flying through Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July.
Yeah, well, the only good part about that was really turning it invisible, because I had a lot of questions there. How do you just go into the Smithsonian, find a jet that's got enough fuel to take you to Cairo, and also has not had the entire inside guts stripped out because they're going to display it in the Smithsonian?
You just do.
Yeah. There were so many things wrong with that movie that I just didn't want to get into it, because I did kind of have some fun with it, because it was really a good spectacle, and it was pretty cool. But it also carried a lot, since I'm going to talk about Wonder Woman, it also carried a lot of the same plot points that we already saw in Superman 2 and Spider-Man 2. So I guess when you get to your sequel, it's where you have to, you got to sacrifice your powers in order to try to get your love interest back. And then realize that you need to have your powers and you lose your love interest.
Well, and you forgot the opening to Superman 4 as well.
There you go. I mean, I felt like I'd already seen that movie before. I was so disappointed. But anyways, Taika Waititi is going to make a Star Wars film.
Yes.
And if anybody that can't remember who that is, Thor Ragnarok, okay? There you go. The guy is a super talent. He knows how to do some fun action and comedy, and that's something Star Wars needs, is action and a little bit of humor.
Exactly. Well, and he's already dipped his toe into the Star Wars universe. He's directed a couple episodes of The Mandalorian. He was IG-11 in The Mandalorian. Yeah. So, I'm excited to see. He did.
And if he gets in trouble, he'll just self-destruct.
There you go. He did put out a very interesting tweet. He did apologize in advance for destroying Star Wars fans' childhoods.
See, I love that guy. He's funny. He's very clever. I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a guy who can take the high ground.
Right. Because we got a little bit more about Obi-Wan Kenobi. And basically what we know is they actually got Hayden Christensen. He will be returning as Darth Vader. Now, how that plays out, we don't know. No idea. We just know, what? Yeah. Really? So, I don't know what we're going to see, but we're going to see it. And then Ahsoka. And we've already got, okay, not to spoil anything in Mandalorian, but we got to see Ahsoka. And so she gets to come back. So, oh my goodness. We also get, apparently producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni didn't think one series was enough. They wanted another. So we got Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic. Don't know anything about it, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm in, just from Jon Favreau and especially Dave Filoni. If Dave Filoni's doing it, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I will go down and say that right now. We also get a Lando Calrissian series. So, don't know what exactly is going on with that. Also, Andor, of course we knew it was coming, which I'm into. Diego Luna, I liked his character in Rogue One, and I want to see what all he did. As long as they bring in my man, Alan Tudyk back.
Yes.
It's such a great pair. I want to see them together. I'm excited. There's something called The Acolyte.
Yeah, that's actually going to be related to the new High Republic series that Lucasfilm is putting out. There's a series of comics, a series of books, and this is going to be connected to that. It's set about 200 years before the Clone Wars.
Huh.
So, we do know that there are a couple of older Jedi that, would have been alive at the time. So it'd be interesting to see some familiar younger faces popping up.
We'll see. I haven't looked into the High Republic stuff, so no idea what to expect. But Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which we found out, we've heard Ming-Na Wen apparently should be popping up
as Fennec fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely as Fennec. It's been confirmed.
Woohoo! I was so glad another spoiler warning, but I was so glad they found a way to bring Fennec back, because I was disappointed that they had Ming-Na Wen and I thought they'd killed her off in the first season. To have her come back and to be important to the series made me happy.
Oh, yes.
I was so happy. Yay! So then Star Wars Visions. I'm not sure what that is. I guess it's about anime creators. Anthology collection. 10 fantastic visions from several of the leading Japanese anime studios. I'm down. That sounds cool.
There's someone has created an anime based around A New Hope, which, or an opening of an anime around A New Hope. And it's just absolutely fantastic. It's very kinetic. So I'm hoping that this is something similar to that.
Awesome. And then a droid story. This epic journey will introduce us to a new hero guided by legendary duo R2-D2 and C-3PO. A new droid character. And this does make me think of the old Droids animated series.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Lucasfilm Animation. So this could be very... but this makes me want... can we get the Ewoks cartoon back? Can I have that? I would like that, please.
We can hope.
Because I actually like the Ewoks cartoon better than the Droids cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. I loved the Ewoks cartoon. The other thing we got is Willow.
Oh, Willow, a series, yes.
A Willow series. I have such hopes that they don't mess this up. Because I love that movie. It wasn't the big box office that apparently that was expected to be when it came out, but it is such a great movie. I adore it. So, I want this to be good so bad. And then we've got an Indiana Jones movie coming.
Yeah, which there's been little bits and pieces coming out, but they did confirm Indiana Jones 5 is in the works with Harrison Ford, and this will be a finale.
Yes, well, because they really have to wrap it up because you just can't. I mean, I've even seen already people on Facebook like Harrison Ford, though I don't know how well he's going to do as Indiana Jones, and like,
well, let's just hope that he ends up, pestering kids in a museum wearing an eye patch and telling them stories of when he was, 8 years old or a teenager fighting in World War I.
There you go. That'd be pretty awesome. So we'll see what happens. But that was the Lucasfilm part of this. We got more. We ain't done. Of course, Cobra Kai season 3 kicks up here in January.
Yeah,
looking forward to.
At the time of this recording, it comes online tomorrow at midnight Pacific time.
January 1st, then.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was going to have to wait for it. Woo!
Oh yeah, it's right around the corner for us.
Guess what I'm doing tomorrow?
I'm downloading the episode so I can watch them on a plane.
There you go. All right, let me scroll down on this other page to see some other things that they're going to, of course, I'm going to skip over all these remakes if I can, but I guess I have to mention them. But they're going to reimagine the Swiss Family Robinson. They're going to have a Percy Jackson the Olympians series, which is probably a better idea than the movies. Mighty Ducks Game Changers is supposed to pick up after the other films came off. I think these are all series we're expecting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a series. Yeah.
Turner and Hooch. I guess they're gonna reimagine it because they got a Josh Peck and a dog, a Mastiff. I do remember seeing that in the theater with Tom Hanks.
Not the car.
Not the car. Don't eat the car. John Stamos is coming in a series called Big Shot. We have the Mysterious Benedict Society, which is based off of a book of series, but Tony Hale is coming for that. I'll take a look into that just for Tony Hale.
And Kristen Schaal.
I don't know who that is.
She was Mabel on... sorry, fireworks just went off. She was Mabel in Gravity Falls.
Oh! She's in Bill and Ted Face the Music. I recognized her voice.
Yes,
yeah.
His daughter, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Chris Hemsworth is getting some stuff on. I'm going to move ahead here. There's so much on National Geographic. Sliding around. Here we go. Let's look at. Oh, we already looked at the Lucasfilm. I will move past this. We still have. I'm not that excited about it, but the Cruella. I guess it's a series, or is this a movie?
It's a movie with Emma Stone as Cruella.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Hocus Pocus 2. I hope they can recapture that magic. They're rebooting 3 Minute Baby and rebooting Cheaper by the Dozen.
And
Sister Act. Yeah, which I'm a little tired of Whoopi Goldberg, but we'll get in. That's a different thing. I'm not as excited about some of these Disney things as I am some of the Lucasfilm and stuff. Although with Pinocchio talking to Tom Hanks to be Geppetto, I'm kind of like, oh, hey. But I'm really tired of remakes. I really am.
Yeah.
We've got Pinocchio coming. I must say, with Peter Pan and Wendy, I am pretty excited about Jude Law as Captain Hook. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And Robert Zemeckis is going to direct Pinocchio, which does give me some hope that that's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm a little up in the air with the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, kind of hybrid animated, because I wish they would have brought back the original cast, but, you can't get everything. But we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Although, John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, I'm not sold on them as Chip and Dale.
Yeah. So I'll wait. When I see something, I may get excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Disenchanted. Finally, we get a sequel to Enchanted.
Yes.
So, and it's got Amy Adams in it, so I'm down. Then we've got, let's see. They're going to develop a series, an animated version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They're going to do some more Night at the Museum. I'm not sure what's up with that, if that's like a new series or if it's a continuation. I'm not entirely sure.
And definitely not going to be the same without Robin Williams.
Yeah.
If it is a continuation.
Yeah.
We do have the Jungle Cruise to look forward to this year with Dwayne Johnson. Yep.
Oh, looky there. The upcoming feature film Encanto, which we should do songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's actually coming November 2021.
Taking place in Colombia.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. I'm glad it's still on its way. We'll take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some series based on Zootopia, Tiana, Moana, and Baymax. Of course, Moana, I thought we were getting a movie, another movie with Moana. Are they still doing that?
They could be, but you know what? It's Disney, so if we can make a series out of something, we will.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know what all the adventures Tiana would have with her restaurant. I don't know. I'm not sure what their plan is with Tiana. Oh, well, it was kind of...
Mama. I was just going to say, throw Mama Odie in there, and anything can happen.
There you go. It was one of the things, though, with the Jingle Jangle that
Anika Nani Rose?
I always have a hard time saying her name, but I was like, it's Tiana. She's in the movie. And I was there when they showed her pop up, and I saw her name in the credits. I was like, she's in here to sing, and I had to wait too long for her to come out and sing a song. Because she rocked her song, I must say.
Oh, good.
But they only gave her one song. I'm like, come on, you got Tiana in there. Let her sing more. So, then we got something called Turning Red with a guy who turns into a red panda. Or I guess the little girl turns into a red panda. Which I love red pandas anyway, so I'm curious what that's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sketchy about Lightyear because it's going to be a live action with Chris Evans.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely something different.
It says Chris Evans will voice the hero, so maybe it's not quite.
I believe it's still going to be animated, but it's going to be a human Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, come on. I like Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, but Chris Evans surprises me a lot sometimes. So I'm curious what they do with it because Buzz Lightyear is still, I think, my favorite character out of the Toy Story series. I love him when he's delusional. He cracks me up. It's great. So I'm down to check that out. Let's see. We got some series Inside Pixar, Pixar Popcorn, Doug Days, and Cars, a series based around cars. Something called Luca, a feature film coming for theaters next summer. Let's see here. What else have we got coming on here? Well, we already talked about some of this Marvel stuff. I'm not that worried about ESPN Plus, but there's a lot of stuff coming, mainly for Disney Plus. Disney is doing right by me, I think, with Disney Plus and putting so much good stuff on there.
Yes, if there's any one thing, Disney Plus had a lot of content. Of course, they certainly had a lot of their catalog to fall back on, and the series that they began with, High School Musical, the series, kind of okay. But I'm glad to see this content coming and to see them embracing it, especially with their Marvel and Lucasfilm properties. Again, if things are to the same level as The Mandalorian, we're in for some really good content coming for us. And if they can hook us emotionally, especially as they did in that last episode, there's nowhere to go but up. So we're crossing my fingers. I'm hoping But Disney Plus has certainly been a game changer for Disney, and they've seen the effect that it has. So bring it on. I'm looking forward to what they've got.
But please release something in the movie theaters, Disney Plus, please.
Yes.
Please.
Well, and looks like Disney is planning on doing it.
Yes,
so,
come back to the movie theaters. I love the movie theater experience. Because Black Widow is supposed to be coming in March, and that better be in the theater. I want to go and have my theater experience. It's fun in the theater.
Yep.
So
I don't want it to be.
To it.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want it to be 2023 after the snap, before anything comes back.
Yeah. But other things coming out to look forward to, hopefully still coming this year, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yes. I haven't heard anything on that in a little while, but I think they're still trying to aim for that 2021. Also, 2021, we've got Walt Disney World's 50-year celebration, which I'm sure has been cut back a little bit, and especially, seeing some disappointing photos of the construction kind of got halted on that Tron coaster. They've had some delays because although I've been seeing some stuff about some workers being able to come back, they've had to lay off a lot of workers this year, so it's been held up, but it's still 50 years of Walt Disney World.
Oh, yeah. And, not only do they have Tron, but over in Epcot, they're opening up Ratatouille. They're going to have the Guardians of the Galaxy open up there. Over in, we've been talking about it over in Hollywood Studios. They just opened, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has been open for, a year and a half now. They've got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway that has just opened. Toy Story Land is still popular. So there's a lot going on there. And, while I'm the first to admit that in this COVID world, things are not the same at Disney World. They're doing what they can, and it's going to be amazing to see what they'll be able to do once we can go fully back in and experience the parks, have the cast members there, have the characters there, have the parades and everything that they are known for. Once it comes back, it's not going to take long for to get that feeling back.
Yeah. And I am looking forward. I'm hoping maybe this will be the year I get to make my return.
There you go.
Because I want to I want to get in there. So hopefully maybe I have to have a lot of things change for me, but we'll see. I would love to come back for 50th anniversary. But something else I'm looking forward to. I don't know if this is coming 21, but I know it's coming soon. Hogwarts Legacy. Don't know anything more about it other than a Harry Potter role-playing game.
I believe that they are looking to release it this holiday, so or this coming Christmas.
This coming,
so, yeah.
So we're a year out. I'm excited for that. I can't wait till we get to hear a little bit more about it. I'm sure eventually we will, but now it's very hush. The Hogwarts Legacy is going to be awesome. And then Masters of the Universe Revelation, that new animated series. We got to hear the cast earlier this year. And I've been hearing that there's going to be like 2 different animated series for Masters of the Universe because they want to have one that's a continuation of the Filmation, but then they want to go more adult with the DC Comics run that they had of Masters of the Universe was a bit more violent and a bit more grown up, and they want to have a series that's off of that, which I've been hearing is going to be another toy line based on that series, which I forgot what that one's called, but I've been hearing stories about 2 different series coming. So I don't know how accurate I am on any information I'm getting on that, but either way, Master Universe is back, baby. More cartoons, more toys, yay! And I still have these toys sat on my desk.
Just so long as they don't make Masters of the Universe Roar.
Roar? What was Roar?
Oh, we had Thundercats Roar last year.
Gotcha. Yeah, do not make fun of Masters of the Universe when you make a new series. Take it seriously. Because I want to see this movie. I don't think they're gonna maybe start shooting maybe this year the Masters of the Universe movie. I know they cast a He-Man, so which he needs to bulk up.
Yeah,
that guy needs to bulk up. So we'll see what happens. I don't know whether or not to get excited about that yet or not. Other than I am kind of excited to see it, but we've seen them wreck a Masters of the Universe movie before, so we'll see. But I think I've got everything really that I'm looking for, that at least I know I'm looking forward to, other than, of course, Wave 2 of Master Universe Origin figures. Wave 3 will maybe coming this year as well. Anything else big you can think of, other than hopefully maybe Disneyland will open up again?
And that would be nice. I know that with the reopening of Buena Vista Street, they've had a lot of success with that. But who knows? California has got some of the most strict guidelines out there right now for dealing with COVID, and that situation is going to have to be resolved before they can open back up.
Yep. So there's a lot of potential good stuff that could happen this year that we just don't know. There's always that we don't know. But what we need to do is keep that pixie in the pocket, young at heart, positive attitude. So whatever happens, we find ways to deal with it, even if it means I go and I buy more He-Man figures to help me deal with life, or do like I'm doing now, play it through Final Fantasy VII Remake again, as I anticipate. Hopefully, I've been hearing rumor that we may this year hear about what's happening with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. And also, we're expecting to hear more. Final Fantasy 16 is hopefully coming, I guess, in 2021. They had that little teaser trailer of that one. They're going back to their roots of being just pure fantasy instead of the science fiction that they've done lately. I feel like I've been drawn back into the Final Fantasy series again. Now that it's more of a kind of a mixture of some action with the role-playing elements, it's right in my ballpark now.
Good.
So I do have a copy of 15. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to play that one. So right now, I'm also going through Far Cry 3 and Horizon Zero Dawn, but I got sidetracked because I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII Remake again. But I'm going to play 15. I got a lot of things stacked up because one of the things we didn't even talk about that happened this year, because it's hard to say it was a good thing, was the PS5 and Xbox Series S. And why it wasn't such a good thing is that nobody can get a hold of the dumb things, and all these scalpers are out there selling it for twice the price.
All right.
So I will wait for that to come to where we actually can manage to get one if we want one, which I have to save up some money before I can do it, And I'm going to wait because and I didn't mention the Miles Morales game is out there. I've heard it's fantastic, but I'm waiting because I want a PS5 first, and I'll get it on the PS5 so I can experience it the way the developers meant for it to be. But it looks great. I'm excited to play it, but I'm waiting. I'm being patient because I want to play it on the PS5. So there are some other good things that really didn't kind of get mentioned, but I have reasons why I didn't mention it because that's something that hasn't happened for me yet this year. I'm waiting until the time that I can get them. When I get in my hands, believe me, I'll probably be on here going, "This was awesome!" So because it looks so cool. So it's more Spider-Man. So I'm down. So because I really enjoyed that first game, and I cannot wait for a sequel to that one as well.
I'll try not to spoil it when I get it.
What, have you got a PS4 already, or you got a PS5 coming already?
No, I don't have a PS5, but no, I've got a big Spider-Man fan in my house, and she is really begging to get it.
So Miles is going to visit your house.
Yes.
Part of me is tempted to just go ahead and get it, but I'm like, I got a lot of other games to play. Let me play these because I really want to experience that on a PS5 the way they intended it. So I'm being patient. Although, the footage I've seen looks phenomenal. I'm excited to try it out. But anyways, anything else we need to throw into this before we put this to an end?
I'm just looking forward to 2021. Again, as we mentioned at the beginning, tomorrow doesn't mean that things are going to be wiped off the slate and everything's going to be happy and sunny and cheery. That's going to be up to us. That's, that's going to come down to the way that we approach it and our attitudes. But you know what? We've been in Neverland. We've had a chance to get away from some adulting here for a bit now. Let's make sure we've got those pixies ready, sprinkle ourselves with some pixie dust or with some Eternia soil. And,
there we go.
And, make the most out of 2021. It has been it's been a difficult year. I'm glad that we've got so much that we can look back on and reflect and say, you know what, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But let's make 2021 even better.
Indeed. But with that, let's wrap this up. So we'll see you all on the flip side. Make sure you're checking in on the audio. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you hit subscribe and like on this video. Make sure you also come subscribe to the audio because I got an interview already finished with Dan Viets. Now, the name doesn't sound familiar, but he is the head guy for the Thank You Walt Disney organization that is trying to rebuild the Laugh-O-Grams. They're on a new big push. This is a very important interview. You got to come back and listen. Plus, there's Disney history here in Kansas City that I didn't know that he talks about. He had a lot of great Walt Disney history stories that you're going to want to hear. So make sure you come back and make sure you subscribe to our audio podcast. It's coming.
All right.
Make sure. Dan Viets. And I'm working on some other fun conversations too. Greg Berg, I've been in talks with him for a while. We're trying to work it out. Greg Berg, you might know him as Baby Fozzie from the original Muppet Babies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm working on it. He's agreed to be able to come on the show. We're just trying to find a good time. I've also spoken to another guy who's actually working on a Masters of the Universe fan game that is really cool. I tried a demo out today. I think we're going to have him on very soon. So we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up this year on the show. So make sure you're subscribed. The audio does come out here on YouTube. So if you just listen on YouTube, that's fine as well, because you can still listen. But make sure you leave us a nice review on Apple. Go visit the website. Go to our Patreon page and help me out to keep this show going. But without further ado, let's wrap this up and we'll wait. Bye.
Bye.
Ew. Gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.